Today's Edison format deck profile, zombies. What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And it's been a second since we've had a nice Edison format deck profile besides the one that I played at the WCQ. But today we're doing one that's definitely a fan favorite. It is zombies. And of course, it's one that you see a lot of different builds for. So for me, this is one that I've been playing around with. Now that I feel like I've kind of done my deed with Welladad. I think it's time to move on to something a little different. And zombie is something that really caught my eye. So be sure to let me know down below, what do you guys think about the deck? Maybe you guys have a little different input. You know, what I should be doing on here. But of course, be sure to smash that subscribe button so you guys are notified for all future deck profiles. Kicking things off with our zombie package in our zombie deck, we have 2 copies of Pyramid Turtle. Now, the nice thing with Pyramid Turtle, he is the recruiter for the archetype. We also get a zombie with 2,000 or less defense, which is nice for this deck because all of our monsters have super low defense that are zombies. So you're able to grab whatever you might need in that time of need. So 2 copies of Pyramid Turtle, followed by 2 copies of the OG himself, Goblin Zombie. Throwing 2 copies in here, much like we do in Welladad as well. 1 copy of Plague Spreader Zombie, the go-to tuner for the deck. Followed by 1 copy of Zombie Master. Followed by 1 copy of Mizuki, because you know Mizuki can't ever be too far when it's a zombie-based deck. And of course, rounding out one of our favorites from the OG, 1 copy of Spirit Reaper as well too. Definitely a nice little wall to put up as well. You're kind of in a jam there. So, cool thing is, you can get hit with Pyramid Turtle if you are in a little bit of a bind. So, 1 copy of Spirit Reaper. Next up, we have our 2 hand trappy boys. We have Gores, and then 1 copy of Tragodia as well too. Next up, we do have 1 copy of Sangan, able to search out a few things in the deck that we might need, especially just like with Pyramid Turtle, if you're in a bind and you need a Spirit Reaper, search them out a little bit quicker. So, 1 copy of Sangan, followed by 1 copy of Chaos Sorcerer, since we do have some lights in here coming up. So 1 copy of Chaos Sorcerer, always good for that removal aspect. Never know when it might come up. And hey, obviously we don't have Black Luster Soldier, so we're going to go for the next best thing. Next up, we have our big guy of the format. We got 1 copy of Dark Arm Dragon, followed by 2 copies of Caius the Shadow Monarch. Definitely 2 big staples in Edison format. Next up, one that I do really like, gives us extra bodies on the board as well too, especially with the recursion, I guess you could say, for zombies always being on the field. We have 2 copies of Deep Sea Diva, so you're able to get one out with the other, have 2 tuners on the field, and hey, if you got some zombies out there, you're able to synchro right off and pop off. So, 2 copies of Deep Sea Diva. Next up, we do have some Light Sworns in here. So we got our 1 copy of Lila. Lila's always good for clearing out that back row. Then 2 copies of Raiko as well too. Just to help kind of thin out the deck a little bit more. Not only that, they are lights, so able to utilize that Chaos Sorcerer that we have in here as well too. So the old 1-2 punch for the Light Sworns. Moving on to our spells, we have 2 copies of Book of Life. Definitely a very utilized card. If your opponent has something like Treeborn Frog, we'll be able to get that out of the graveyard, so you don't have to deal with that, the rest of the duel. So, not too bad, not too bad. So 1 copy or 2 copies of Book of Life. Next up for the books, we got 2 copies of Book of Moon. Always good to kind of turn off your opponent if they got something going on over there. 2 copies of Book of Moon, followed by 1 copy of Charge of the Light Brigade. Search out our Lightsworn if we need it. Next up, 1 copy of Gold Star, so we're able to, get anything that we might need just a little bit quicker. Gold Sarcophagus, definitely one of those, utilized cards in the format. Not really sure what I was going for there. Next up, we got 1 copy of Brain Control, followed by 1 copy of Mind Control as well, too. Definitely staples, for the format. We gotta help clear out our opponent's field, especially sometimes if they got something that's a little too big, a little too scary to beat over. Well, hey, we can just take it. Next up, we got 1 copy of Allure of Darkness, since we do have so many darks in our deck. Next up, 1 copy of Foolish Burial, followed by a copy of Heavy Storm, followed by Mystical Space Typhoon to round out our spells in the deck. Next up for our traps, it's definitely going to be a lot of one-ofs, but we have 1 copy of Mirror Force, followed by 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, 1 copy of Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 copy of Torrential Tribute, 1 copy of Phoenix Wing Windblast, 1 copy of Call of the Haunted, 1 copy of Trap Dust Shoot, and then 1 copy of Return from the Different Dimension to round out the deck itself. Now next up for the extra deck, it's going to be pretty much your generic extra deck, plus the Plague Spreader Synchro monsters just to splash in there. So level 4 we got our Armory Arm, followed by our Ally of Justice Cataster, our Magical Android, our Revive King Hades, our Doom Kaiser Dragon, our Brio, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Yugioh Guardian, of course, Black Rose Dragon, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler Archfiend, Stardust Dragon, Red Dragon Archfiend, Dark End Dragon, which is definitely one of the, I think, best cards of the format, and of course our Mistworm, and our Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon for the Cyber Dragon that we would have in our side deck. We always got to keep a spot open for him because you never know what you're going to run into in a tournament. So there you have it, guys. That is the zombie deck that at least I've been playing, playing around with for a little bit on for Edison format. But let me know down below what you guys think. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can play this deck. I've seen other different recruiters tossed in as well too. I have seen Giant Rat tossed in. I've seen some heroes tossed in as well too. So I don't know. You guys let me know down below what you think, what you would play differently, or hey, maybe you guys just like the build and you think it's good as is. But let me know down below. And of course, be sure to check out those links down below as well too. Anything Edison format related or anything card related, be sure to use that TCG player link. Or if you want a slick Dark Magician Girl pillow, or any other attires or needs that you might be looking for, be sure to hit up the Etsy store, because we got some fancy stuff down there. But of course, be sure to smash that subscribe button if you guys like the deck profile. If you want to see more in the future, as well as future openings as well. We will see you guys on the next one. Goodbye, mwah, and good night.